lovely young lady on the screen with us, a model, influencer, all things Miss Monique Cartwright. How's it going, Monique?
Hey y'all, hey, it's going lovely.
All right. So Monique, I know who you are. Some of the
hmm
followers know who you are, model, as I said, influencer, all that good stuff. But
hmm
for those of people who don't know, tell everybody a little bit, about yourself. Who is Monique Cartwright?
Well, my name is Monique Cartwright, and I've been in the modeling business this year for 10 years. I was like, oh my God, I can't believe it's 10 years already. So I actually started off as a modeling group here in Atlanta, Georgia. And then from there, I started working with various brands and really was focused as being a brand ambassador. So after my first gig, when I was flown down to Florida for a boutique, I was like, I think this is something that I can really, really do. So being a brand ambassador, of course, required a lot of time. You do have to spend some money because if you want to get outside of just your original state or the state that you live in, you gotta fly. You gotta get out, right? You gotta get out here and you gotta network. So that's what I started doing. And from there, I was approached by different magazines, more boutiques, and just building my brand. And therefore, I started to learn like I am my brand. And so I was like, what else can I do in this industry? Because I'm always trying to level up. And so from that, I started the model workshop classes.
Okay. All right. So we're gonna get
hmm
into all of those things. So you said you've been doing this for 10 years. Like,
Yeah.
wow, so that would be 2015.
Yes.
2015. So
Yeah.
I know 10 years ago we were all, trying to get into Instagram and
hmm
everybody's coming up, we're all
Yep.
on this journey going different ways and whatnot. So
Right.
what's some of the things that you have seen in 10 years, like the
hmm
changes, that some of the younger models um, may not know about? Some of the stuff that maybe they take for granted today that we didn't have 10 years ago.
hmm 10 years ago, it was really easy just to call yourself a model, right? It was like really easy to say, okay, I model and just put that out there and to have nothing to back it up. No professional portfolio, no training, no this, no that. Everybody wanted to be a model, right? So we have 10 years into the game. I have learned that you really, really got to do your research. You really, really got to pick your lane.
Mhm.
You really, really have to find what this industry does um, best for you, per se, or find your niche, right, in this
Right.
industry. And you got to remain professional because for me starting off, I was trying to gain all of these IG followers,
Mhm.
right? Not really thinking about what the brand is looking for. Working for a brand, they expect you to sell their items, right? They can care really less about the likes, it's more about the engagement. So, unless you learn that, you're going to get in this game and be like, I need 10,000 followers, and you don't care how you get them.
Right.
And that's something that a lot of these models fall into that trap of just getting IG followers and not thinking about if you're working with brands selling bras, selling lingerie, selling female clothing, they expect you to sell.
Hmm.
And if your main following is males, that ain't gonna work.
Yep. So that
Not
actually,
gonna work.
I wanted to ask you. I was gonna go into that. So,
Mm-hmm.
as you know, we can see our insights on Instagram, and
Yes.
we can see who our followers are. So,
Mm-hmm.
you know, that is something that I think a lot of people take for granted.
Mm-hmm.
With a lot of the ladies, especially, posting pictures. Men, obviously, we like to see, you know,
Right.
pretty women
Right.
and whatnot. But
Mm-hmm.
talk a little bit about like that. Like kind of what
Mm-hmm.
is that difficult at times to
It
try
is.
to keep your followers to the people who are actually going to buy the things
Yes.
that these brands want?
Yeah, it definitely is because for me, I like swimwear. I like my lingerie. It's not going anywhere, right? But I also keep it classy. And I had to, over the years, learn the middle point for all of that, right? I do not want to have more male followers than female followers. I want female followers than male. So I like 60-40 is my good midline for me. For me. And you do occasionally have to go in there and clean house because you will have followers with no pictures. You
Mhm.
have ghost followers. So you really do have to take the time or pay agency or marketing branding company to go in there and clean that up for you because it will get overwhelming. You will literally, doing that type of modeling or posting those type of pictures, you can get to 90-10 real quick.
Yeah,
And
like
that's not cool.
yeah, I see that too. My
Yeah.
pages are, obviously I run my pages. I have some people that get on with me, but we
Mhm.
post models and we post
Yes.
pictures of, a lot of women and whatnot. And
Mhm.
so I go on and
Mhm.
every so often I get a random comment or a couple
Mhm.
random messages, DMs from guys,
Mhm.
who are not stopping to look and see that this is a brand page and not an
Right.
individual woman. But you
Mhm.
look at your followers and the page, depending on the content,
Mhm.
you know, you see who interacts more with the post. So I can only
That's
imagine
true.
that as a woman, it's got to be, I would say difficult,
Yeah.
but it's something you got to be mindful of, especially like
You
we said,
do.
you post swimwear, you do
Yeah.
post lingerie. And,
Mhm.
to be honest, most of these guys, not that they're out here buying this stuff for their wives or their
They
girlfriends.
not.
Nah. So,
Mm-mm. They not. I'm sorry, because I'd even hit some up with like, "Oh, you like that? Go ahead and buy that for your boo boo." And next thing you know, delete. I'm like, yeah, because you're not. No. Mm-mm.
so when you are dealing with these brands and they want you to sell the clothes and whatnot,
Mhm.
like, are you able to talk a little bit about like what happens if you don't meet the mark? I've heard stories about some
Mhm.
brands of how they are really aggressive with
Yeah.
pushing you to sell certain items. Like,
Mhm.
what happens if you don't meet it for some of them?
Well, I don't work with those type of brands because I cannot take on that type of pressure. I'm like, I'm gonna do what I do. You know what I'm saying? I definitely, for the brands I work with, I make sure that I'm able to meet my contract. I will not get into a contract with a brand that I know personally that I cannot fulfill, nor will I be under a stressful situation working for a brand either as an ambassador. That's not going to fly with me either. So I have to definitely pick and choose which brands I'm going to work with depending on my availability, one, and whether or not we can develop a good relationship. A lot of these brands are just another number. You're just another curve model out here modeling their lingerie, or their swimwear. I like to build relationships with my brand. So I'm very, very picky on the type of brands that I do work with for that reason,
Mhm.
because I want to make sure that I can fulfill my contract.
Now I know there are different types, right, of
Mm-hmm.
contracts, different types of agreements.
Mm-hmm.
And newer models may feel the need to just go and grab as many as they can
Mm,
without really looking at
I
what
did that.
is going on. You know,
Mm-hmm.
um,
Mm-hmm.
we speak a little bit about like any advice for those ladies or what your experience was like. Grabbing everything, feeling like you need to grab everything you can versus
Mm-hmm.
actually being discerning and picking and choosing which opportunities are right for you.
Right. The way it is now is not like it was 10 years ago. And it really did start to boom with the brands reaching out for ambassadors and influence during COVID. They needed us bad,
Hmm.
right? So during that time period, a lot of brands were looking for ambassadors and influencers. But prior to that, starting off, I did do just that. I was like, okay, I need to reach out to this brand, reach out to this brand, reach out to this brand. And then I felt overwhelmed because in the beginning, I wasn't getting paid for it. It was just trade. I send you clothing, you send me pictures. I send
Hmm.
you clothing, you send me pictures. And then the thing about it is, in the beginning, that might be something you do have to do to get your name out there, right? And to let brands know that to take you seriously and that you take clean, professional pictures. That's kind of how you build your name out here as a brand ambassador influencer. You may have to do that in the beginning, but you still have to vet these brands and these companies the best way that you can. And once you get to a certain level, then that's where you start pushing back like, no, I've put the work in. I have invested money. You can see that my pictures are crystal clear. You can see my content is great. You can see my engagement is great. That's when you can start saying, send me the contract, I'll send you my rate.
Hmm. Like you said, it's
Mm-hmm.
a business. You know,
Yeah, it is.
you mentioned that you are the brand. You, like, you're the
Mm-hmm.
business. You
Yeah.
know,
Mm-hmm.
um, and you got to a point where you realized that that was something that you
Yeah.
had to own. You had to realize, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, you don't have to take every opportunity that's thrown at you
No.
or the conditions for every opportunity. So,
No.
how important are the contracts? And the
Contracts are super important. Super, super important. Right now, I do not move unless I got a contract. You know that.
right, right.
I do not move unless I have a contract because when you get to a certain level, people will start to use you, right? And not take into account it takes money for makeup, it takes money for these wigs that we wear out here, hair, nails. We got to remain on point at all times, and those things are not free. And then on top of that, contracts holds me accountable and it holds the brands and the companies accountable as well. That's all. But contracts are very, very, very important. The higher up you get in this industry.
Right.
Hmm.
Is
Yeah.
there a way to balance? We're talking about money and compensation.
Hmm.
Is there a point where it's important to balance the actual benefits versus the pay?
Hmm.
People want to
Oh
say,
yeah.
"Oh yeah, yeah, well, I'm gonna get you some exposure." Right? I'm a photographer.
Hmm.
And I always get that. I get people say, "Come out and shoot this," and it'll get you exposure.
Hmm.
We know exposure don't pay bills, right? Exposure
Right.
buy equipment. It doesn't buy makeup,
Hmm.
buy wigs.
Right.
Is there a point for you or for
Hmm.
models where you may take a job where
Hmm.
you don't get your rate, your full rate, or you don't get your rate? Like, how does Monique
Hmm.
determine what to do in that situation? What's
Hmm.
good and what's not?
Yeah. Good question because I do that. And it all depends on the relationship that I have with the person, the relationship we built, in this industry together. I look at the brand, where it's going, what it means. Is it charity? Is it something that's really going to, at the end of the day, give me much exposure in different outlets, like
Mhm.
different states? Um, Give me more exposure when I need it. And I do make those calls at the end of the day. It may not be all for free, for sure. You may have to come out of pocket for something, but I do take upon looking at the relationships that we built over time and what it can bring to the table for both of us, for having me involved and for having them involved in what I'm trying to do as well. I
Right,
always do that. Even celebrities do charity events. You
right,
know what I'm saying? Like big time celebrities. So what makes me think that I can't do that? You know?
right. True, true.
Yeah. Mhm.
So, and I know we'll talk a little bit more as we get into like your workshop and whatnot.
Mhm.
But so, having been in the industry for 10 years,
Mhm.
have you run into any situations where things may not have gone the way that you wanted them to? Any adversity, I guess, because these new
Mhm.
ladies and men, because we do have men
Mhm.
here now, these
Yeah.
new ladies and men are coming in to something that the groundwork has already been laid for them, right?
Mhm.
But if you could help them benefit from your, I don't want to say mistakes, but like lessons that you've learned, like,
Mhm.
what are some things that you could point out, like some things that if you could do it again, maybe you wouldn't go down that path, or any adversity that you come against?
Yeah. Yeah, I can name a couple. I When you're working with some of those high fashion shows where they have the high fashion couture designers, I was picked as their curve model, but technically the designs were not fit for the curvy body.
Hmm.
So I was actually forced to fit in an outfit per se. And I didn't feel comfortable going down the runway with all these lights shining on me in this outfit. Not thinking about the pictures are going to last forever. They're not going nowhere. Once you got it on, you hit that stage, that's it.
That's it.
So if I was to take a step back and think about, do you really want to squeeze all these rows in this outfit that don't fit you and be like, I'm a pass, I'm good? Or do you really want these pictures to last forever and make you look like who done it and what for? I would have been like, you know what? I'm good. If you don't have anything that fits my body that I'm comfortable in, I'm good.
Yeah, yeah,
You know,
yeah.
that's
No,
one
definitely.
instance for sure. And some of those high fashion designers or couture designers, they don't have, designs that actually fit curves.
Right. I see that with a
Mhm.
lot of straight size shows that try
Mhm.
to include
Yes.
curves and plus size, or
Mhm.
there are some straight size shows. There are some brands or producers who have seen like the what plus is doing,
Mhm.
and so they try to add that as a money grab,
Mhm.
to their lineup.
Mhm.
You end up seeing it in the outfits that they have. They don't have it's an
Yes.
I've had ladies tell me that they have gotten to a show and all of the straight size models are getting their makeup done by the
Oh
makeup
yeah.
team that was provided. But
Mhm.
then the plus size models, they're like, oh, yeah, well, you got to do your own makeup.
Yeah.
Well,
It's hard.
yeah,
It's
even
hard,
some
and
of them
and
got to
you
bring their
really
own
do
clothes.
feel if your confidence level and is not up to par, and if your shield ain't on, you could take them jabs. I mean, you will walk away crying, and I have seen that. And that's unfortunate, and that's something that I really wish in this industry that we would have more high couture designers that are actually out here having nothing but curvy models from 14 to 24 on that runway. We need
Right,
more of that. We really
right.
do. I don't want to be no frumpy old ugly looking glitter dress. I want a high couture high fashion
That
gown on.
that's true, and I tell people all the time, we need to stop begging for a seat at certain tables,
Mhm.
and
Make our
we
own.
we have the resources to make our own, right?
We
So,
do. We
especially in
do.
fashion, it's like
Mhm.
the plus size industry, it's like $1 billion industry. Like
Mhm.
women of all sizes spend money, but plus size women spend money,
Mhm.
want to look good.
Mhm.
All of the major fashion houses that we see were small at one point,
Yes.
and we have designers out here who design for plus. You're gonna pay
Mhm.
for it, but they
Yes.
design for plus. So it's like,
Right.
let's support those designers that design for plus.
Mhm. And I'm definitely down for it. Like that's something I would really love to do. I really don't do too many fashion shows due to some of the experience that I've had before.
Mhm.
But if I am connected with the right brands that want me to see me in their outfits, I'm down. I'm there. And now that I'm there for.
Yeah. So
Mhm.
right before we get into the workshop, one more question for the models,
Yeah.
right? Working with photographers, because obviously, you have a lot of different photos.
Mhm.
Y'all see her Instagram right there. Go check out her
Mhm.
Instagram. I was a fan of Monique before I ever had an opportunity to meet Monique or talk to Monique. Big fan. Try not to be creepy though. Some people can hit like on 1,000 pictures and it's just weird. But I respect her work, what she's done, the versatility and whatnot.
Mhm.
But photographers are a big part of this
Mhm.
industry. Models need photographers need
Yes.
models. So talk a little bit about your experience working with different photographers and how you would advise some people to determine who to work with and who not to work with.
So for me, I've actually been pretty damn lucky with the photographers that I have worked with. But one thing that helped me is that I went through, the models locally here that I'm close to. I went through their Instagrams and I started looking at who they were shooting with, right? And I would go shoot with them too. I would call them, pick up the phone, ask them, like, hey, girl, I see you over here doing it. I love the type of pictures that you're taking. I would love to work with a photographer that you work with. How was it? How was the relationship? Did you enjoy the photo shoot? Pick up the phone and start asking these questions before you shoot with these photographers. Ask around. Ask some of the top, models in the industry who to shoot with, and how it was before you just go out here shooting with everybody. Because as we both know, everyone cannot shoot curves, and
Hmm.
nor do they want to. Some photographers just don't want to. I've been to plenty of those power shoots where it's like 20 photographers in the house, and they will walk right past a curvy model. They don't care. They just don't care. So I'm like, okay, that's fine. But I'm gonna do me, and I'm going to find the person that does want to shoot curves and can do it successfully.
Yep, for sure, definitely.
Yeah.
I tell people all the time, look at the Instagram, look at
hmm
whatever their portfolio is.
Look at their portfolios.
See,
hmm
if you don't see anything on their portfolio that looks like what you want to do, if you
Exactly.
don't see anybody on their portfolio that looks like you,
hmm
then it doesn't mean that they don't shoot it, but it does mean that that's not what they're focused on.
Exactly.
That's not what
Yes,
they're
I
focused on.
agree.
They'll take your money, they'll take your money,
Oh yeah.
but are they going to put you in the best light? So,
Mm-mm. And that's just a waste. It's a waste of money. You might as well invest that in something else, or towards someone else that's really going to give you what you're looking for. That's going to enhance your portfolio the right way.
yeah, I mean,
hmm
I've said this for years and I stand by it. Like, one thing with men as photographers, right? Men in general, we know what we like to see.
hmm
And so I have always felt like if a man doesn't like plus size women in general,
hmm
I'm not saying you don't appreciate,
hmm
if a man is turned off or disgusted
hmm
by a plus size woman,
hmm
he can be the best photographer in the world. He's not going to take that woman's photo in a
hmm
way that is flattering for her.
Right, right, right.
You
And
know,
in my opinion, those are not professionals. If you cannot separate your
exactly,
personal from business, you're not a professional.
exactly. And I've seen that. So,
hmm
but all of these things are things that people, models, experienced models can help other models with
Yeah.
down the line. In 10
hmm
years is definitely some experience in this industry.
hmm
And with the experience comes evolution. We got to see what our
Yeah.
next steps are, right? What's
hmm
our next step in the journey? And for you, you have taken that next step in developing your model workshop. So
hmm
let's talk
Yeah.
about your model workshop. Now, this is your domain. I'm gonna give you the floor. People about your model workshop. What is it? What are we doing?
So, Mickey, this is the second year that I have embarked on the Monique Cartwright Fashion Model Workshop experience because that's exactly what it is, experience. Last year, I really focused on bringing the top runway slayers like Jeannie Ferguson down to Atlanta, Sharita Ivory down to Atlanta to teach on runway posing, how to reach out to brands and agencies and how to market yourself accordingly. Wandrea, was one of our coaches. Devora, Nikki Mack, we've had all of them on board last year, and it was very successful. And I was like, you know what? And it came to me in the shower, and I was told by God that you need to start giving back. You
Mm,
need to start giving back and start teaching some of the younger models in the industry the right way to do things, the professional way to get noticed, to get signed, to get to their next level. Just don't be closed mouth about it. You
right.
need to open up and share. So I prayed on it again because it's very stressful. I had to get the Fent team and everything, and I even called you
Hmm.
because I was like, Mickey, what am I getting myself into? And thank God you were willing to share some of your experience with me. And so I took that and had to pray on and sleep on it. And then I was still told to keep pressing on. Don't let, low ticket sales at first discourage you, because at the end of the day, it was tickets that were selling. It was just it wasn't in my time. I want to see sold out like right then and there.
Right.
But I had to learn, like, first of all, this was your first time out doing this. You know what I'm saying? You got to kind of build it up a little bit, you
Mhm.
know. So I said, this year I'm going to do it big. And so I'm bringing to the table this time Takara Jones, which we both know is a
Right.
pioneer in this industry. Okay. She was on America's Next Top Model.
Yep.
She was in the Italian Vogue black model way back then. That was the first for her. And she's just phenomenal. I remember back in the day, she was on the cover of a King magazine. And baby, when I tell you, when I saw that cover, as a female, my jaw dropped.
And, I saw it too.
And I know you did. I said, I ain't never seen nothing like this before. And I remember how I felt. I felt proud. I felt that I was represented because I had never seen nothing like that before.
Mhm.
So I want her to come and talk about her journey as a professional pioneer in this industry, her struggles, and then she's also going to be teaching us runway and posing and mental health too. Because if your mental not together in this industry, it can take a big toll on you. Not just in the industry, period, but overall.
Right.
So she's going to talk to us about that. And then I have panelists, Passionate, Kristen Taylor. I have Danielle Jackson. These are all celebrity MUAs, celebrity hairstylists. Passionate, she's a talent manager. Danielle, she's a talent manager and actress. Because what I've seen lately is that we're branching out. Some of the models and things back in the day, we're finding other niches now. We're getting into acting, we're getting into different genres in the industry, which is very, very smart. So I kind of wanted to bring to the table everything: hair, makeup, talent, agency, branding, all of that in one big kick and caboodle, basically,
Right.
so that we can kind of learn how to be a well-rounded individual in the industry. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So that is definitely doing it big.
It's
Year
a lot, I know, right?
in year two. So
Definitely do it big. It's going to be on March 29th. Yes. Here in Atlanta.
tell them like March 29th. Where is it? Where you doing it?
Yep.
Where?
March 29th here in Atlanta. It's going to be at KMG Studios here in Atlanta. And it's from 12 to 4 Eastern Standard Time. And we're going to have a ball. We're going to have a ball. And we got an after party too. Of course.
Okay. All right. So look, y'all, we're going to link everything in the video. So if you are
Yes.
watching this, whatever platform you're watching it on, the links for this class are down below.
Mm-hmm.
So check that out. If you haven't been to Atlanta, you should go.
Yes.
Atlanta itself is a whole experience to go.
Mm-hmm.
But you should definitely go and check out Monique's class. Like Monique
Yes.
she has been doing this modeling, and just even without Takara, it's awesome to have Takara, but even
Mm-hmm.
to have the expertise that Monique herself can
Mm-hmm.
lend to you all,
Yeah.
it's amazing. Like, check out her profile with everything, because a lot of the ladies that I see that come through asking for modeling experience, I probably get
Mm-hmm.
one email or message a week saying, what do I need to do? How can I become a model?
Mm-hmm.
And I would tell some people, go check out a page like Monique's page.
Mm-hmm.
See
Mm-hmm.
the way she's curated her page over the years with a
Yeah.
balance of professional modeling opportunities and her own life, right? And
Right.
be able to see those things. So just having that type of experience in the room is something to have. So now she's adding
Yeah.
all of these other power players into it.
Mm-hmm.
I would definitely say check that stuff out.
You
So
gotta be in the house. You gotta be in the house. This is one you don't want to miss. Like
yeah,
you said, even without everybody else, yes, I'm going to be on the stage too. I will be talking as well. We got Jennifer King, my event and managing. She's going to do, talking about how to brand yourself accordingly, etc. Comp cards. It's going to be a blast. You're going to learn
yeah.
a lot.
And networking is a
Yes.
big
Yes.
part of this industry. Like,
Mm-hmm.
networking,
Yeah.
you got to invest in yourself. So whatever the cost is of the class,
Mm-hmm. Mhm.
Put it to the side. It's tax refund
Come on
season.
now. Mhm.
It's tax season. Put that money to the side. I know we all just saw what Beyonce did, and I get it.
Okay.
Myself too. I'm up there like, wait, how much you? I don't. All
I
right,
was like, "Excuse me?" Mm-mm,
yeah,
mm-mm.
you know. But as much as I love Beyonce and I want to go, I know
Yeah,
I got to invest in myself for the things that I want to do. So if I got to decide
that's right.
between going to the concert or
Mhm.
spending money on what's going to advance my career and could
Mhm.
possibly put me in a position to be at the concert in a better
Yes.
capacity later on, then that's
Mhm.
what I'm gonna do, and that's
Then
what I
that's where you do. That's exactly what you do.
right.
Mhm.
So you
I
all
agree.
check out Monique. Monique, tell everybody where else they can find you. They see your Instagram here, but
Mhm.
where else can they find you?
So you can go to my website www.iamMoniqueCartwright.com. I'm also Monique Cartwright on Facebook. And Mickey, you better come on down.
Girl, I want to be there for that weekend. That is, I think I have a gala that weekend though. That's that. Yeah,
Really?
yeah. I have a gala that weekend. It's the
In the
Bridgerton theme
summer.
actually that I'm.
Mhm.
But what I'm gonna do, as I told you, I have a lot of people that are from Atlanta that
Yeah.
follow EOC.
Mhm.
So, in addition to everybody here, I'm gonna make sure that I let all my Atlanta friends know what's
Thank
going on
you. Thank
and
you.
send them down there too. I got a couple guy friends that keep asking, "Yo, how can I meet these models? How can I meet these models?" Well,
Hey.
y'all can pay
Mm.
your money and go to this class and learn a little something.
Yeah.
Meet the
And it's
model.
not too just for female models. It is not just for models. I need male models. I
Yeah,
need actors. I need actresses. If you are trying to elevate as an MUA, a hairstylist, like I need all those people need to be in the house. I opened it up for that reason so that we all can learn from these people that's going to be on the panel list.
no, they definitely do, especially
Oh
the guys.
yeah.
Like
Mhm.
guys, we always talk about we want clothes too, we want clothes too, we want to do. But if we're not
Yeah.
showing interest in the industry,
And you're not showing up then
the brands are not going to listen to what it is that we want. So you have to show.
correct.
And she's opening the floor for men to come out, makeup
Yes.
artists, and all of that.
Yes.
We need to take advantage of that.
Yep. Absolutely.
Yeah. And then when you bring it up to DC, I'll make sure
Yes,
there.
you already see where I'm going with this, don't you?
Oh, I do
Mhm.
because you can't stay in one spot, man.
No, no, no.
You gotta
Learn
rotate.
that too.
Yeah,
Mhm.
you gotta rotate.
Mhm.
So, but
Yes.
Monique, thank you so much for being here with me today. I
Well, thank you
appreciate
for
it.
having me.
Of course, of course. So, like I said, everybody follow the links to everything. If you got more questions, reach out to Monique. You can reach out to us too, District of Courage and the Plus Support, and we will pass those
Mhm.
questions on to Monique as well.
Yeah.
And thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks, everybody.
All right, hang on, I'm gonna end the broadcast.